Not only does he play 48 minutes in the game,
unreal.
He ends up, the counting numbers, 49 points, 16 of 23 from the field, 4 of 9 from 3, 17 rebounds, 10 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks.
Unbelievable. And not only that, Chris, not only that, he was their best defensive player.
The Mismatch, presented by FanDuel Sportsbook.
Verno, on this late Tuesday night as we record, we just witnessed an all-time great performance by an all-time great player in Kevin Durant. That was unbelievable. I'm in shock seeing that. It was just special. Just special.
That was downright shocking to watch a player, number one, play 48 minutes of a basketball game.
2 years after he ruptured Achilles.
That did not go to overtime. When he came out to start the fourth quarter, I thought, this is about to happen. We're about to watch a guy play 48 minutes. And I, in fact, said to my buddies, I'm like, you know, if something happens to this guy, you do wonder if it's a different coach on the sideline outside of Steve Nash, if he's getting beat up for this, right? I get it. I get it that season's on the line. I get that it's a big game, but I mean, this is a guy that has logged a tremendous amount of minutes and had what we thought at one point was going to be more than likely a career-altering injury.
Nope.
And it has not altered that career at all. This was his masterpiece. You could tell at the very beginning of this game, very quickly, that James Harden is going to give it a go. He played an inordinate
46
amount of
minutes. And he was a decoy for 46 minutes, a decoy that the Bucks didn't attack enough when he was on defense, and they had Drew Holiday on him when he was on offense. What a waste.
What a waste. And, you know, they get done with that first half, and at the end of the first half, they go back to TNT during the halftime show, and they're putting up these numbers, and it was Kevin Durant and Jeff Green, 33 points. The rest of the team, 10. Kevin Durant and Jeff Green, 10 for 16 field goals. Rest of the team, 4 for 24. Kevin Durant and Jeff Green free throws, 9 for 11. Rest of the team, 0.
That was at halftime, right?
James Harden, 0 points, 0 for 6, 2 turnovers, 22 minutes. And it's like, all right, this is just not sustainable, right? You're not going to look up at the end of the game. I mean, they've got 43 points at halftime, and it's like, you can't go the whole game with it just being Kevin Durant and Jeff Green and getting nothing from everybody else, including James Harden. But I'll be damned, Kevin, they damn near did. And Durant turned up in that second half in a way that we have not seen. A lot of people were likening this and taking great joy in this. You saw all the memes after they lost that game, the last game in Milwaukee, Game 4, and it was like people were sending out the memes like of Lil Baby, who was atrocious in that celebrity game, and it would be like Kevin Durant without 2 Hall of Famers next to him, or there would be like a meme. I saw another one, and it was like, without 2 of the greatest scorers of all time, here's Kevin Durant. It was a picture of Harrison Barnes, and it was like
such a joke. People
were delighting in the idea of Kevin Durant having to be in the position that LeBron was in, in different years.
Here it is. Here's what he was.
Curry was just in other years. And so, it had been a long time. Like, really, I mean, you got to go back 2016. Really, the last time we saw him in this kind of a spot where, he doesn't have
when he was by far team. When he was by far the best player on the team the 2015-16 season.
Yeah, and he
Not even close.
And he had another guy, but they weren't loaded. You know what I mean? And since then, he's been flanked by two amazing guys when we've watched him play basketball. And so this was all right, now you're the guy. You've got to put the team on your back. You've got to make this team, you got to make everybody better. And he ends up, as I said, with this masterpiece of a game where it looks like they're dead to rights. Not only does he play 48 minutes in the game,
unreal.
He ends up, the counting numbers, 49 points, 16 of 23 from the field, 4 of 9 from 3, 17 rebounds, 10 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks.
Unbelievable. And not only that, Chris, he was their best defensive player.
Yes.
The whole night, anchored the defense, was switching onto the perimeter, getting stops regardless of the matchup. So on top of all the counting stats, with the 3 steals, the 2 blocks, he was watching the game, a very high-level defender individually. It was one of the better individual performances, I think I've ever seen. You mentioned the help he got from Jeff Green, who finished with 27 points. Blake Griffin ended up with 17. But the Nets are up in this series 3-2, despite Kyrie now missing a game, despite James Harden being limited after missing all first 4 games, besides the couple of seconds in the opener. Joe Harris losing his shot the last 3 games. It feels like he's shooting 0%. I believe he's hit only 3 of his last 22 or 23 3-pointers after hitting nearly 50% catch and shoot on the season. Some of their guys, like even Bruce Brown, who's been very good besides the end of the game clunker he had, his floater's not fallen. And yet, despite all that happening around Kevin Durant, he had a masterful performance, making every single right decision in the pick and roll, every single right decision as a passer, getting the ball to Landry Shamet at times, who made some nice plays off those passes. It was one of the most complete performances we'll ever see.
For those that were hoping for him to fall on his face when he was without 2 of these guys flanking him, look, Harden, a shell of himself is not even applicable in this. That was not James Harden, and you could tell immediately in that game. He ends up 1 for 10. Kevin Durant, when we ask superstars to be those guys that prove I'm the best player on the floor, I'm about to elevate this team to a level that they shouldn't even be at, when your second and third leading scorer are Jeff Green, who's on a nothing contract. Say whatever you want about Jeff Green and his talent level. He's on a nothing contract, and he's played for 50 teams. And Blake Griffin, who was a buyout. That, in the end, those were the second and third leading scorers on this team that just won an Eastern Conference semifinals game against a, outside of DiVincenzo, fully stocked Milwaukee team.
Yep.
And that was because one guy. That was, I will impose my will. I am the best player on this court, and everybody will know at the end of this game. And that's ridiculous, man. Just ridiculous. Truly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, he didn't have his guys. He didn't have Kyrie, and he didn't have Harden. He had whoever that imposter was wearing a James Harden uniform. But he didn't have Harden for this game, to help him.
And with that, in mind, the fact we've only seen Harden play 1 full game throughout 5 so far in the series, Kyrie now having missed 1, I can't help but think even if the Bucks were to win these last 2, I don't feel any confidence in their ability to win the finals here against either the Suns, the Clippers, or the Jazz. Maybe they could get past the Sixers if Embiid is limited and all that, but this team is an embarrassment on the offensive end of the floor. Their inability to create easy shots, their inability to adjust mid-game. Like, where was the attacking of James Harden? He couldn't move his feet. He had that one nice play poking the ball away from Giannis on an ISO near the right elbow. But other than that, his feet were in sludge. He couldn't move. So why are you not bringing him in to set the screen, be the screener defender, get him on an ISO from the perimeter with Chris Middleton or Drew Holiday and attack? It wasn't happening. Where is the creativity? What took so long for Bud to pull Brook Lopez out of the game when Kevin Durant was just picking him apart, taking pull-up after pull-up after pull-up? Why wasn't Giannis defending KD at all? Not once. Where was it? Switch it up. Throw different guys at him. It's a joke. I have no faith in this Bucks team to win anything.
Is the one guy that we've ever seen block a Kevin Durant jump shot. Ever. In what, 15 years? We've never seen somebody block a Durant jumper outside of Giannis. And you're right, on the Lopez thing, like it's one of those, that's the juxtaposition too, Kev. It's like, that, and this is how Nash thinks because of how many pick and rolls he ran over the course of his year. If you put somebody out there, like the second you're going to put that dude in the game, we are going to attack him until you pull him out of that game. They can't play Bryn Forbes. They put Bryn Forbes in, it's like this guy, he's got the scarlet letter on his head, right? Same thing, but you flip it to the other side, and it's like the Nets, they sit there and they say, all right, where's our advantage? Now we're going to put the screws to you with this over and over and over again. If you're going to lead this dude out here, this is what we're going to do. And on the flip side, it's like the Bucks, like, they don't exploit anything. They don't exploit anything. I mean, there we are again. Game on the line. Like, this is nip-tuck stuff. And Giannis walks in to a brick three, which caromed over to Brook Lopez, who, like, he wasn't in rebounding position. That ball was such a hellacious brick, it shot off to him in the corner. And then they got that, the bump foul on Harden because he can't move his feet like he should be able to move his feet. Like, Harden was consistently just trying to draw calls because he couldn't move his feet, and he can't move laterally like he needs to be able to move laterally. And you saw even all those times where Giannis had the ball at the top of the key, it's like Harden was just standing there inside the free throw line. Like, what are you going to do, man? Like, I got one leg, but I can stand here. You going to drive past me? Like, I at least try to steal the ball from me or knock it off your foot or whatever else. And just bizarre. Like, they tried to run that side pick and roll with him and Holiday. Nothing. Holiday airballing.
Nothing there.
I mean, they didn't replay it. I hope somebody hit his elbow or something, because what the hell was that elbow airball? I mean, these are in like how many times do we come on here and I'm chronicling like the critical possessions and the ones where you just need a bucket, and some of the shots they take and what they get, just the kind of shots they get. And this Brooklyn team, they are making them look much better defensively than they are.